People deluded. Now, we've just beat Bournemouth 5-1. Spurs have just lost 2 games on the trot, while the latest just obviously being the 2-0 defeat to Chelsea. So we might as well preview Spurs versus Arsenal, Arsenal versus Spurs, the North London derby. One of the first, well, not even one of the first, that was the wrong terminology. One of the only derbies that is not overstated in the Premier League, in my opinion. Liverpool versus United is still a big one, hasn't quite been at it for many years. Everton versus Liverpool is pretty overstated in my opinion. Arsenal versus Spurs, whether it's because neither side are realistically expected to win any titles or whatnot, is still there. There's a lot of passion, and it doesn't matter either side are in the Premier League. It comes down to bragging rights. I mean, Arsenal, we haven't been above Spurs in a minute, but we're still reminding Spurs fans that obviously we beat them in the first game of this season. This game literally divides families, mine included. I have a niece that's a Spurs fan. I want her to be stressed. I want my brother-in-law to be stressed. You get it, people? It is a derby. I want to win this. Means a lot to both sides. Spurs fans are going to need a reaction. Spurs players are going to have to give them a reaction. Obviously, the 2-0 defeat to Chelsea is unacceptable, but to lose on the spin to Chelsea and Arsenal is unthinkable, such as the standards have been raised at Spurs to a degree. So it's a must-win for both sides if it wasn't already. Arsenal, probably you still say Spurs are probably still the favourites, to be fair with you. Nobody expects Arsenal to win this game. Everybody probably expects Spurs, but you have to be wary of complacency. And like I said, if Spurs lose this, Arsenal go a point behind them, to be fair with you. United are going to lick their lips regardless of the result, but there's enough things for Spurs to need to react. Can you imagine? Like you seen, Danny Rose went mad allegedly when you seen the fact that our players there were doing selfies after we beat them. So could you imagine them in the dressing rooms? Boys, we've messed up twice now, but losing to Burnley was unacceptable. Losing in the fashion we did to Chelsea was also, we've dropped 6 points. We cannot make it. 9 points dropped. Arsenal, who have been poor, will be down our necks. United too, by that logic. And we just owe it to our fans to react. We've got a tough game of fixtures coming up. Arsenal, we've got a tough game of fixtures coming up in the sense that we've got United the week after this. So it's it's now time for everybody to prove their worth. And at the end of the day, obviously it will come down to the amount of clean sheets and away goals we can keep, but it will come down to games like this where people need to stand up to be counted. These are the games where Unai Emery needs to earn his keep. These are the games where some of these players we already know they're not good enough, need to earn that they're good enough to play for this team. Neither side will be able to accept defeat, but it's all about the passion, the reaction from Spurs, and also how Arsenal go about that game. To be fair with you, we win that. We've put in a serious shift this week. 6 points. I couldn't have asked for more from the boys. To be fair with you, there's really not much to be said other than obviously Xhaka, Lichtsteiner and Maitland-Niles were obviously rested in regards to the game that we played today against Bournemouth. So we might as well just talk about my lineup essentially, people. Obviously, I'm not sure at this point, but if you want to see a bit more of extended thoughts, quick little plug of my tactical vid that I did on another date, to be honest. So there we go. But back to this. It's difficult. I'll go with Leno in goal. That's a no-brainer. That's definitely not difficult. Left back, I'd go with Kohler for the attacking threat that he'd give us. But I'd also consider Monreal because obviously Kohler is the man essentially in an attacking sense at this club. But we also need to remember Monreal, there was a time he was chipping in and Monreal's very decent going forward. And more importantly, defensively, Monreal's a bit switched on. I do think Spurs and the way they get on the last shoulder is going to really be an issue of us. And if you're Pochettino, where is the one area you're looking at of strength from Arsenal is Cole on the left-hand side, but also a position of weakness is that left-hand side, our left, their right, which you see many a team exploit, whether it was Spurs, ironically, in the Cagliari belt, or Liverpool in the league away with Firmino, or Lingard when he at Old Trafford in the FA Cup. No, forgive me, he's at the Emirates in the FA Cup. Or actually Lingard away from home in the league. They're going to exploit that space. Monreal's a bit more switched on. He's not perfect, but he's a bit more switched on. So there's a debate to be had. I'm leaning with Kohler. He's been in good form. On the right-hand side, I'm literally happy with either Jenkinson to start this game or Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles would give us a bit offensively. We know he's not a fullback. Jenkinson's not going to give us that much offensively, but he's a bit more reserved. He does go forward, but he's a bit more reserved. So by that logic, there should be an extra man defensively to help us because Spurs, they can split you open in a couple of passes, like you saw for Dele Alli's goal, ironically, where it went from in the league, in the Cagliari, sorry. Literally, in fact, both them goals they scored against us that game. It's a long ball from Gazzaniga into Kane. Kane puts a lovely pass in. Dele Alli's made a run and we don't know where he is. These are things we've got to be aware of. Set pieces, we've got to exploit them again. If Spurs learn their lesson, they let themselves down last season with how they defended from set pieces. If I remember correctly, Vertonghen, we did a good number on Vertonghen, but also how we pressed them. So I need to see more of that. I want to see us press. I want to see a good performance away from home in a game like this. I want to do the double over Spurs. When have we done that before? And I definitely want to avenge last season at Wembley, because I think that was one of the most toothless performances I've seen in the North London outing, to be fair with you, from any Arsenal side. But yeah, back to the lineup. Happy with either Jenkinson or Maitland-Niles. I'm going to go with Jenkinson purely because Maitland-Niles hasn't been involved. I think Maitland-Niles will start, because if he's been left out as a precaution and there's no Bellerin, you'd be inclined to believe that he would... Jenkinson, the man who played 90 minutes this week, will make way, but it is what it is. Or it could be Lichtsteiner thrown back in. So I don't know. But for me, I'm going to go at this moment in time, I'll go with Jenkinson. I'll be fair. I'll go with Jenkinson and Kohler at fullback. Obviously, we said Leno at centre-half. Leno in goal. Centre-half, Socrates and Koscielny, they picked themselves. Koscielny is a bit worrying. Don't know if it's another game where you've seen Koscielny go down and you don't know, is it an impact one or was that your hamstring? It might be a lot on Koscielny to ask Koscielny to play for 90 minutes on Saturday. Mustafi was rested, so Mustafi will probably come into the side for Socrates to be, well, with Socrates, better yet, people. But I'm going with Koscielny and Socrates, to be fair with you. I wouldn't even mind Monreal and Socrates, such as Mustafi lost my faith. I'm going with a diamond in case you haven't realised as well, people. In midfield, I'm going with Xhaka, Maitland-Niles, Xhaka, Guendouzi and Lucas Torreira. They picked themselves, people. Could bring Ramsey into it. Want to play Ozil as well, but I feel you've got to play Mkhitaryan in the 10. I feel based on how he's played against Bournemouth, he should start. Based on how he played in the game before that against Southampton, he should start. I feel he's been in decent form since returning from his injury, and yeah, man, I feel he definitely earned the right to play there. It's difficult to be honest with you, because I would like to try a formation to actually bring back Iwobi, but I just feel the diamond will be a source of strength from us because of how Spurs look to play and the congested midfield. Obviously, if I haven't said it already, why do I keep saying Maitland-Niles? I must really want him to play. The strikers pick themselves in Lacazette and Aubameyang, and if there is any other striker you want to start in this game, there's something wrong with you, in my opinion. But there's really not much more to say other than don't let Spurs turn their little bad 2 games around against us. Try and pour on the misery. More than that, win, lose or draw this game, it's about the performance for me anyways. It's about the manner. Obviously, I don't want to accept losing to Spurs in any circumstances, but it's about how we play. Ultimately, I want to see bravery, not just from the players, but from Unai Emery in terms of how he implements them to play. Ultimately, many people would take a point. I'd love to win this, but many people would take a point at the end of the day. I don't think there's much more to say. I mean, I'm a North London man. I've lived here my whole life. I mean, there's really not much more to say. The week of a derby, you definitely feel it in the air, man. And Spurs are going to want revenge after losing to Chelsea. And it's almost going to be, well, it isn't almost. It is considered unacceptable to lose to Arsenal. So it's going to be an intense game. I hope it lives up to the billing. It's definitely going to look like it's going to be a decent one for the neutrals. We're kicking off early, so early kickoffs in big games always worry me as an Arsenal fan, but it is what it is. On that note, though, people, DG, thank you for watching and preying. I'm out.